Welcome to the Modern Renaissance Man Show. I'm Ben Copeland, the Modern Renaissance Man. Glad you could join us tonight on whatever channel we happen to be on and showing. One of the things I wanted to talk about was, I'm not sure this show's probably airing, I don't know, maybe March, April, May, some time frame. But we're filming here in February, and I wanted to think about the Nicole stories, is basically what's been going on. Anna Nicole. You know, I told my wife right after she passed away, I said, watch the money, and you'll see how many daddies start coming out of the woodwork. Let me tell you what, if that many men stepped up for children in the average family, we'd have a lot of children have dads at home spending time with their children. I think we're up to, what, about 5 guys claiming to be the father of a child? I'm not sure if they've even ever seen her. But they know she's got, what, $400 million? Boy, you got a guy in prison claiming to be the father. Today, I'm listening to now they're arguing about where they're going to bury her. If they're going to bury her in Texas, they're going to bury her in the Bahamas, should they bury her with her son, should where her mama wants to go. I would like to see the news people focus on something else. Here's the way the news went today. 3 soldiers got killed in Iraq. And now, about the Anna Nicole story for the next 30, 40 minutes. Come on, people. Let's have some real news. Anna Nicole is just somebody rich, you know. There's lots of other rich people. Let's focus on the real issues, like Iraq. Here's an issue for you. I call them phone heads. You know, back in the 80s, you used to have, particularly the liberals, used to jump up and down about the towers carrying the big power lines and the radio frequency and the static energy that were basically dangerous and filling into our heads. But now you see all these people walking around with a microwave antenna stuck in their ear. Cell phone usage. People walking around with all this stuff plugged in. What do they think's happening? They're getting beamed radio signals straight into their head. It's not like they can walk away from it. They're just nothing but walking antennas. You know, that seemed to be okay. So, you know, think about that, you know, when you put your sandwich in the microwave, hey, that could be you, you know. The Democrats for president. Who is not running? You know, well, let's see, you got the Hillarys and you got the Johns and probably another Johns and you got the Obama and let's see, I don't know, I think the list is going on. I think you got a Bison coming in there. You know, the Democrats, everybody is coming out of the woodworks, out of the Democrat Party to run for president. Haven't heard them talk about children's issues yet, though. Boy, I tell you what, they can bash good old George for everything. And maybe he deserves to be bashed on some occasions. But everybody in the Democrat Party is running. Speaking of the Democrat Party, how about Air Force 3? Have you been paying attention to that issue? Nancy Pelosi. She wants her a mega jet to fly back and forth across the country nonstop because now she's important as the Speaker of the House. Nancy, come on, get real. You're not that important, you know, to have a big mega Air Force 3. You know, you can have a small little jet and you can make a stop somewhere. You know, come on, lighten up here. Another thing that I want to talk about that bothers me is mail that I get that says, urgent, open immediately about your mortgage or something like that. People soliciting junk from you, but they send it in an envelope that makes it look like it's official. That should be illegal. That's intimidating. I'd like to see the Postal Service do something about stopping that kind of stuff on the mail that I receive at my house. Oh, your student loans could be in trouble. But it's somebody who's trying to get me to refinance. That should be illegal. Come on, let's do something about that. Let's talk to some politicians, get rid of some of this junk going on. Talking about politicians, my favorite, Charlotte City Council. I've decided that they should name the new light rail system coming up out of Pineville the Furball Express. You know, because it's a CATS system. CATS is the name of our transit system. Call it the Furball Express. Have you been paying attention to how they're building it? It sort of goes up, and then it's down, and then it's up, and then it's down. Let me tell you what, by the time you get into downtown Charlotte, you're going to be ready to cough something up because you're going to be sick. Yeah, it is bad. The Furball Express, the new CAT rail, you know, which may be done in the next 20 years by the time they need to have double capacity. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to step to what I call the more serious side of the show, the soapbox. The issue I want to talk about tonight is about Charlotte-Mecklenburg schools in particular, but more general school systems across our country and what's happening in them that really disturbs me. Picture this. You have a student who's stomping on the back of another student laying on the ground. Maybe they're kicking them too. Picture this at the same time, you have a teacher standing there watching the stomping and the kicking. A teacher who's afraid, a teacher who's angry, a teacher who feels hopeless, helpless, and powerless. And you know why? Because we have laws that are stopping that teacher from doing anything. In 1995, I met a teacher from West Charlotte High School. And he told me that when a fight broke out, he did absolutely nothing to help stop it. Why? One is that he could get hurt. Two is that if another student happened to get hit while he was trying to break it up, he'd get sued. And three, he'd probably get fired for trying to break up the fight. Our laws no longer protect teachers who have the interest of students to help them and to stop a student. I know for a fact from the person who was there, who told me about this story, of a student who was getting stomped on by high heels, and they were scared to do something because they were told not to do anything, waiting for the police to show up. Student is getting hurt. Teacher can't do anything. They'll get fired. They'll get sued. We need a change in that. Parents and lawyers sue teachers because they get involved with these fights. And they're just trying to stop a child from getting hurt. How can we expect to have caring teachers when they're told, no, they're made not to help in this kind of situation? How can we expect to raise caring children into caring adults with this kind of example? We need laws that protect teachers, that enable teachers, that encourage teachers to do the right thing, the things they want to do. We need what I call Samaritan teacher laws. Laws that empower a teacher to help a child, particularly in a violent situation. Help protect that child. Help keep that child from getting hurt. We need the laws. Wake up, politicians. Wake up, school board. Wake up, North Carolina State. Wake up, Peter Gorman. What do you think we're paying you for? Gorman, you need to fight for the teachers versus just firing the teachers. And that's the way I feel. And with that, while I wind down a little bit here, I've got my guest tonight, DoranSnow, tuning some great music. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Doran.
Thank you, Dan.
Keep it a secret, thinking no one will know. Just keep the outside looking good, the inside lay low. Rid your mind of your conscience, straight face so no one can tell. So you still got your money, but your soul's out for sale. soul out for sale. Nowhere to turn to now. No one's there to catch you when you're falling to the ground. Nowhere to turn to now. They're gonna kick you when you're down. They kick you when you're falling down. So you got your things all packed away. You keep them under lock and key. Paranoia in your head. Don't expect for it to leave. Can't rid your head of your conscience. Let me get this head. So you still got your money, but your soul's out for sale. Put your soul out for sale. Nowhere to turn to now. No one's gonna catch you when you're falling to the ground. Nowhere to turn to now. They're gonna kick you when you're down. Nowhere to turn to now. No one's there to catch you when you're falling to the ground. Nowhere to turn to now. They're gonna kick you when you're down. Kick you when you're falling down. There was a time of innocence and staying. Once there were children playing within your head. See this child within your head. Put this child back to bed. Seems this child, he's dead, never to be young again.
Thanks, Doran.
Thank you.
Well, Doran's going to join us over here for some more chat for the show. A few little discussion things. I got a few things I wanted to bring up with you. You're watching the Modern Renaissance Man. I'm Ben Copeland. I want to go ahead and brag again that we were #1, and we may still be by the time you're watching this, on Yahoo out of 4,170,000 hits. We came up as #1 on the search engine. And I'd like to thank all the crew and the cast, everybody who helped make that possible. All right, especially Dan, director Dean, and Dean Smart, who's basically been with me since the beginning, over a year. And so, yeah, you know, reading in the newspaper here, I got the local rag. One of the things, some of my political issues here I'm going to for a few minutes, Doran, was Hollywood Gorman is now threatening to fire teachers in Charlotte if the scores don't come up. And basically, the North Carolina's raised the bar with regard to scores that students have to take to pass certain classes. And he's going to fire them. Well, you know, that really does good for teacher morale. That really does good for student confidence in teachers. Students already basically figured they can skate by because the teacher can't do anything, just like the soapbox says, teachers aren't empowered. Gorman, you know, you really need to fight for your teachers. You know, get them some money, get them some empowerment. You know, we might have some better schools. Keep flip-flopping all this magnet stuff. That ain't going anywhere. It's not working, and it hasn't worked since it really started. Come on. School board needs to do something. If they don't pass, hey, they ought to fire him. You know, he's supposed to be the boss of the whole thing. Another soapbox, a mini one I slipped in there. DoranSnow's with me. Doran is a Renaissance man in his own right. He works on cars, repair-wise. He paints cars, done a little body work, builds computers, And here's something, you've been a gamester for quite a few years. Tell me about what's some games and stuff that you play.
You know, I seem to venture out and try some new games, but always go back to racing games.
Racing.
And
Like
and that's my passion. And the steering wheel, the pedals, you know, vibration, everything. You know what the real deal when you hit the wall to feel it and everything. So
It slams you up against the wall of your house or
you know,
something?
it doesn't quite slam the wall against the house, but you know, when I'm on a bank turn in the race game, I find myself leaning sometimes. So you know, it's like
Well, you know,
really get into
with your
it.
knowledge of
I
cars
enjoy
and
it a
working
lot.
on stuff, I bet you could build a platform. You know, almost like a simulator.
I don't know that I want people to walk in my house and see this tilting seat,
But if we could do it, it might be a way to make some money. We could be entrepreneurs.
that's true. It's probably been done before. But
Well, yeah, but I mean, it costs about $1 billion if you go to Boeing. I've
right.
been in one of them. They're actually pretty cool. I was actually in a flight simulator in 1984. It was a 747 simulator. This project of we were buying software from Boeing, and you're in this. It's basically a box like inside something like a gymnasium, and it's up on these hydraulics. I'm sitting there, and you're actually at the controls inside a 747, and it looks just like a 747. And I'm taxiing. I can feel the cracks in the concrete as we're taxiing, because you can see them on the screen as you drive across, and you feel it when the tires cross it. And this is in 1984. No, nothing compared to what technology can do now. This is with computers that had screaming, you know, 16 megabytes of memory, and you know, basically not at all compared. You know, so
Right.
it'd be probably pretty neat to get in a new modern day simulator now. I mean, you know, you probably a fly hit the window, you know, you could hear it, and who knows what else. But driving games, you know, when I was my stepson was growing up, he was really into the I forget some. His is the adventure games. The little boy running around with bows and arrows and shooting, and you get all these tokens and things. And I couldn't do it. I was never, you know, I could do a little bit of the driving stuff, but I could never do the adventure games. And we got a lot of guys at where I work that are hot and heavy into gaming, the online stuff, and they join the teams. And
right.
do you get on races with people online?
I have raced online. Yes.
Yeah.
I have raced online.
So
That can be quite aggravating with all the big NASCAR games, what have you. But with some of just the smaller games that you're racing on dirt, it's quite entertaining.
Now, is it like
It's
what
quite
you
fun.
say if you go to a tavern and you got a whole line of machines on the wall?
Oh, you have
like that,
yeah, you have a
that,
bunch of different servers to pick from, and some servers will let you in and some won't. That are, you know, some of these guys have been doing that for a long time, and they don't want somebody coming in like me that's going to wreck everybody. So, yeah.
There's another guy that I know, friend that you might have known him, Jeff Littleson anyway, but I think it was him that basically got into a game that was a flying game. And he said he decided to try this flying game. You know, basically he was online, groups of other people. Said next thing he knew, he was like wing commander, and he had like 10 guys online or girls, you know, online with him who were part under his wing. He was actually commander of them and scheduling the runs against other groups. And so here he's like his obsession went rampant, and which is an interesting thing. How do you feel about? Let's sort of switch gears on you here. The future of the internet is a drug. I think we're there. What do you think?
Yeah, we're definitely there. We're definitely there.
What do you think is the worst aspects of it right now?
Oh, the worst aspects of the internet? Oh, well, we've got online gambling, we have porn, we have just everything to get addicted to out there. Gaming, hey, you know, I found myself a lot of times staying up on that dirt race game. Next thing you know, it's 5 o'clock in the morning, and I had started at like, 9 o'clock that night. So, yeah, you know.
I remember years ago that when they first really started the chat stuff, I downloaded this book about it. It was called IRC, Internet Relay Chat, or something like that. The guy had a book about it and sort of told you how to use it. His first paragraph said, "Be careful, this is highly addictive." And I tell you what, for about 6 months, I found myself obsessing into it. And finally I was like, wake up,
Right.
You're hooked into this. You need to get, you got an issue here.
Yeah.
And I saw how easy, and when like I said, this guy's writing. And this is probably 10 years ago, before it really got to where it is now. That's before the big gambling, before all the porn really hit. That's out there now. I got concerned the other day. My daughter come home. She has a school, basically like a little chat area Now, it's from a reputable company hosting it. Still, I mean, you got access from kids all around the world that could get in there, and you assume they're kids, and that's the danger. Yeah. So one of the first things I did was that I got her ID and her password, so I can get on there and check it out. And she doesn't have a computer in her room that's hooked to the internet, and she doesn't have a TV in her room, unlike 70% of the other children right now. Like 70, 80% of the children have TVs.
That doesn't surprise me.
In their room. And we're talking like small children.
I have a TV in my room. No, not a child, but
well, you're a little
one I never watch, really.
You're a little older than 10.
And if I had a child, I'd probably let them have a TV in their room. So I'm just going to be honest with that.
It's an easy way out. And so if my daughter wants to use the internet, she comes to me and says, I'd like to get on the internet. And I control my computer, and I know exactly which sites they're going to. And when she said something about going on with this thing, first thing my wife and I did was sit down and looked at it and raised eyebrows and decided, well, we're going to have to monitor this a little bit, and for the next 8 years, she's 12, and I figure by the time she's 18, if she can make enough choices there, 16 to 18, that I'm not going to worry too much. But at 12 years old, and it was interesting. I was watching her little friends. They knew the little lingo. You could tell the ones that had been on a while.
Right.
How to do the little typing and the little symbols and. I was like, here are children at 12 years old that obviously are on chat sessions a lot, and cause they were just right at home with that. The thing that I'm worried about actually going forward is there was a movie come out, a miniseries called Wild Palms, with John Belushi died. James Belushi was in it, and the whole premise behind this movie was virtual reality. And basically creating these virtual worlds where people would put on glasses and they would dial in and they would basically live out relationships with somebody on the other side of the world. They had this one guy, remember, who was in a wheelchair. He was paraplegic, and I remember Jim Belushi went into the VR world with him. And this guy's like pretending he's like in the French Renaissance period, dancing with a beautiful Asian woman who's actually over in Japan physically. And this guy was able to have a life in VR. And what I got thinking of that is that, that's a drug of the future. Because people, when you talk about the internet being obsessed, when you think the idea that you can go into a virtual room and you can be anything you want to be, as long as you want to be there, I think you're going to see addiction run rampant. And in this, they actually had a boosting drug that people took with it so they could actually smell stuff and enhance the touch issues with it. Sort of scary things. What I'll do is put Doran here on the spot on a few questions. We did some of this last time he was here. What I'll do is Doran's coming back into the music area. He's got a partner to work with him, and you got some stuff probably gearing up probably this coming summer, maybe.
Yes, hopefully. That's what the plan is.
So Doran's done all these different things, and one of the things that I wanted to ask him is that what is something you haven't done that you would like to do?
Ooh.
Or some things you haven't done that
I know right away. I talked about the gaming. I would like to race cars for real. And I've never pursued it, and it takes a lot of money, but there are some starter classes that you can get in with a little less. Lowe's Motor Speedway now on the dirt track and the little small track has crash cars that would be a cheaper way to get into racing.
Crash car?
Yeah, crash cars. There's a lot of them too, and they crash a lot.
It's like pre-crash for you.
Yeah, they crash a lot. So yeah, that's definitely been one of my just something I've always wanted to do. My father raced boats. My father raced midget race cars years ago before they had roll bars. So, wow. I kind of feel like it's a little bit in my blood.
Now, what's the kind of cars they have? Like the motorcycle engines in them. They're little
legend cars.
Legend cars.
Yes.
They still run those out there?
They do.
Now, those are neat little cars.
They are.
I wouldn't think, what, 20, 30,000?
They're not that much, but to maintain and to keep.
And smash it up a few times.
They wreck a lot. You've got to remember, there's a lot of rich families that have their kids out there driving. They're basically trying to pursue to get them in a higher level of racing. So, sometimes the average guy can't quite compete against that money when somebody runs, when Junior runs over you from behind. So.
And we had a guy here about a year ago, that Jim Calandro, who's into Ducati motorcycles. And I know you have a motorcycle. You have a Harley, right?
I have a 1200 Sportster, and I bought that because I used to race motorcycles, and I hurt myself a lot in the later years, and decided to sell everything.
That's why I took a flying plane, because I got worried about motorcycles.
Well, you know what I decided to do? I decided to buy something slow, so I wouldn't race around on, and it's worked.
Well, this guy is like 69 years old, and he's racing. He said he's slowed down now to about 140 on a track. 69 years old, I guess what else you got going for you? Anyway, well, we're coming up about our time. I'm going to let Doran slide on over to his guitar and take us out some tunes here as I start closing on up. And basically, we're glad you joined in. Remember, keep hitting those Yahoos and those MSN searches, and maybe we'll get Google up higher than 22, which is where it's at this February. I'm Ben Copeland, the Modern Renaissance Man. As always, I want to thank my volunteers for helping out the show, the camera people. Without them, this show just would not happen. Dano, the director, thanks Dano. Dean Smart on audio. Kate S. Copeland, who handles the Roman host camera and is also best girl on key grip. Jennifer manages my green room. Without all these people, this show just would not happen. I'm Ben Copeland, the Modern Renaissance Man. Thanks for joining in, and stay tuned. We'll be having the second anniversary show coming up in a not too distant future. Have a good evening.